In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Please be seated. Jesus tells us, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who abuse you. If anyone strikes you on the cheek, offer the other also. If anyone, and from anyone who takes away your coat, do not withhold even your shirt. Give to everyone who begs from you, and if anyone takes away your goods, do not ask for them again. Do to others as you would have them do to you. Wow. Our Lord just never lets up, does he? Some say it's too much to ask of us, but that no one but God's very own Son would actually be able to do all of this. But we know different, don't we? Because if nothing else, we heard about Joseph in our first lesson today. Where we see Joseph in today's lesson, he is a man of authority and wealth. His word is law over all of Egypt, second only to that of Pharaoh's own word. He is revealing to his brothers who have come to grovel at his feet in order to acquire food to take home to their father and to their wives and children, and that Joseph is their very own long-lost brother. But how did Joseph become their long-lost brother? Now think back to when Joseph was Jacob's favorite son, so loved that he was given a very special coat that none of his brothers had. You know, some say a coat of many colors, some say a coat of long sleeves. Whatever it was special. And his brothers didn't have one like it, whatever it was. Think back to when Joseph was dreaming about his family, and he dreamed that his father and mother were the sun and the moon, and his brothers were all the stars, and that all of them were bowing to his star. When Joseph was sent out into the fields to find his shepherd brothers, they all had him away from his father now. And what did they do? They threw him in a pit. They planned to kill him. That's what they did. But a caravan came by, and the brothers now realized that they could make a profit by selling Joseph into slavery instead of killing him. So that's what they did. Joseph, the Israelite, became a slave in Egypt. He was lied about. He was imprisoned there. He was mistreated and threatened until he became God's prophet to Pharaoh. And yet Joseph, when he sees his brothers who planned to kill him and then sold him as a slave instead, when Joseph sees them, what did he do? Imprison them? No. Sell them as slaves? No. Kill them? No. And you know, he could have done any of those things, of course. He was powerful. He could have done any of those things to them. But instead, Joseph loves his brothers. He does good to them. He blesses them. He prays for them. He does to and for them as he would have liked them to do for him. Joseph loves his scheming, conniving enemy brothers as he loves himself. Today, although we're maybe a little late in doing this, today we're going to celebrate Black History Month here at St. Elizabeth's, as we did also at Church of the Advent. So I was asked actually at Church of the Advent to preach about Black history today, and I'm going to share this with you all as well. And as honored as I am and as I was by that request, I've got to tell you that I wasn't really sure I could do it justice. Why? Well, I was a little afraid, maybe like Joseph's brothers, to discover that I might be teaching someone about their own family history, a history that I clearly don't share, a history that my ancestors almost certainly were complicit in taking away part of and in creating the worst parts of. As you see, honestly, I don't even know my own history around the heroes of Black history. So I was a little worried about preaching about this today. That is, until I listened to the sermon from our diocese's Absalom Jones celebration. And I don't know if any of you got to see that, but it was wonderful, and you can watch it even now because there's a video of it. And the preacher there was one Mark Bazzuti Jones. He's a friend of mine on Facebook, believe it or not. I don't know him in person, but he is a wonderful missionary, writer, and preacher, and he pointed out how I could preach this in such a great way. He quoted from a song by Peter Tosh, which says, "No matter where you are from, you're an African. No matter where you're from, you're an African." And he preached that over and over. Now, Mark left out the one single phrase in between there, which was, "No matter where you're from, as long as you're a Black man, you're from Africa." And I think he left it out because, well, there were some women present, and whether they were Black or not, they were not men. And then there were also a few non-Black people, like our bishop there. But he pointed out that the church, as we know it, largely came from Africa. And he's right. The first adult convert that we read of in the Bible was from Ethiopia. Much of our theology is formed from the writings of St. Augustine of Hippo. And Hippo was a community in Africa. And though Mark Bazzuti Jones did not point this part out, I happen to know that genetic research from years back taught us that all human beings came from one common ancestor. Who was that ancestor? A Black woman in Africa. There you go. And I believe first and foremost in God and in love, and secondly, I believe in science. So there you have it. And so I'm going to say with my Jamaican brother, Shah, I too am an African. Right. That's the way he said it too. And this reminds me so much of Psalm 87, verses 3 through 5, which says, "I count Egypt and Babylon among those who know me. Behold, Philistia, Tyre, and Ethiopia. In Zion were they born. Of Zion it shall be said, everyone who was born in her, everyone was born in her, and the Most High shall sustain her. The Lord will record as he enrolls the peoples, these also were born there." So, my friends, we too are a chosen people. God chooses Israelites. God chooses Africans. God chooses West Indians. God chooses Asians. God chooses Americans. God chooses you. God chooses me. We are made in God's own image. And in fact, every single human being is made in the image of God, in the likeness of God, in the creativity of God, in the goodness of God, in the ability to choose like God. Now, what does this mean if we take this statement seriously? Well, for one thing, it means that every single one of us has the right and the dignity to choose our own actions in life and to deal with the consequences of our choices in our own way. For another, it means that throughout history, throughout the entire history of the world, some of us have chosen to take away the right and the dignity of choice from other human beings. Cain took away that choice from his brother Abel by killing him out of jealousy. Joseph's brothers, took away that right from Joseph by selling him into slavery. Absalom, the son of David, Absalom tried to take that away from his brothers and from his father by making war upon them, and he lost his life in that attempt. It means that tribes from nearly every community on earth have tried and have sometimes succeeded in taking away the right and the dignity of choice from their neighboring tribes and communities, their human brothers and sisters and even children, through any means possible for their very own benefit. It means that my white brothers and sisters have gone to other countries and kidnapped my black brothers and sisters, my brown brothers and sisters, my Asian brothers and sisters, my First Nations in the Americas brothers and sisters. In fact, the fact that we are all made in the image, the likeness, the creativity, the goodness, and the choices of our Creator God has been ignored. And God's beloved children have been shamed and enslaved and ripped away from their loved ones. And they have been treated brutally and killed because some people think that their own likeness is closer to God's image than the likeness of other people are. Some of the folks that treat their brothers and sisters this horrendously have received their consequences, and some have not. Cain did. Joseph's brothers did. The Egyptians who enslaved Israel eventually did. And you will notice that it is the Lord our God who brought the consequences, who brought the justice, and not those who had been wronged. It is God who brings the justice. Now, am I saying that those of my brothers and sisters who are wronged today should just keep quiet and allow themselves to be wronged and wait for God to handle it? What do you think? Would I say that? Absolutely not. I would not. I will say that rioting and physical attack and trying to push God into action are not the way. God is the way. Love is the way. But it is a powerful love that overcomes all fear, that overcomes all hatred, that overcomes all injustice. This love that does not fret because evildoers seem to get the upper hand for a while. This is love that blesses those who curse us, that forgives those who wrongs us, that does good to our enemies, that speaks truth to power. This love is mighty. This love is unconditional. This is love that changes everything and that has as its source God's own self. Now, there's a song that I suspect some of you here today may know that speaks of God taking up the cause of those who have been wronged and of showing the way of goodness and love to those who have lost the way, to those who have done evil. The song is called The Right Hand of God. Some of you know that? The right hand of God. Now, I can't preach those words of the song the way our presiding bishop, Michael Curry, so often does. I wish I could. It's a great talent. But I can sing it for you. And just so there's no confusion, I do not think that God is right-handed, okay? Or that God thinks less of people who are left-handed. I believe the right hand of God means the righteous hand of God. So listen. The right hand of God is writing in our land, writing with power and with love. Our conflicts and our fears, our triumphs and our tears are recorded by the right hand of God. The right hand of God is pointing in our land, pointing the way we must go. So clouded is the way, so easily we stray, but we're guided by the right hand of God. The right hand of God is striking in our land, striking out at envy, hate, and greed. Our selfishness and lust, our prides and deeds unjust, are destroyed by the right hand of God. The right hand of God is lifting in our land, lifting the fallen one by one. Each one is known by name and lifted now from shame by the lifting of the right hand of God. The right hand of God is healing in our land, healing broken bodies, minds, and souls. So wondrous is its touch, with love that means so much, when we're healed by the right hand of God. The right hand of God is planting in our land, planting seeds of freedom, hope, and love. In these many peopled lands, let his children all join hands and be one with the right hand of God. Amen. Amen. My brothers and sisters, trust the right hand of God, the righteous hand of God. See what is written. Go where we are pointed. Name greed, selfishness, and injustice. Be lifted up and lift up others in turn. Be healed and know God's unconditional love. Plant, along with God, the seeds of freedom, hope, and love. Join hands with one another, and all of us with the righteous hand of God be one and move together toward the amazing dream of God, never to harm one another again. Amen.